Good morning, students. In the last class, I started the new lesson number 2, nutrition in animals. I think you are following my instructions and studying the lesson. Okay, already we sent the first lesson and second lesson to you. This is for FA1 test part. So you have to go through these two lessons also, children. So now coming to the lesson number 2, nutrition in animals. In that, I have started with the introduction and different types or modes of nutrition in animals. What are the modes we have studied? And in the last class, digestion in the human beings and how it is divided into different compartments. That all we studied in the last class. Okay, so in that first compartment is the mouth and the buccal cavity. So what are the compartments? All together we will call it as the digestive tract. Okay, so digestive tract or alimentary canal we will call it. So the parts in that already I told. Okay, so in that first part is the buccal cavity. The second is food pipe or esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and rectum, anus. Okay, so these parts or compartments include the human digestive system. Okay, so in that we discussed about the mouth also. In the last class, I told about the mouth. From the mouth only the food starts to go inside the body. Okay, so if we are taking inside the food, food will be intaken through the mouth. That activity we will call it as the ingestion. Okay, ingestion means intake of the food to the inside the body or inside the buccal cavity. So this process we will call it as ingestion. Okay, so when we take inside the food, what we will do? We will chew the food, we will bite it, cut it. Is it not? So inside the mouth, what are the main parts are there? So teeth will be present, tongue is present, and a mucus or jelly-like thing. Okay, liquid is present. Okay, we will talk about that three things only in the buccal cavity. This is the first compartment, first portion of the digestive system. Okay, so here when the food goes inside, we will cut it, bite it through our teeth. Okay, and it will be rotated left and right by the tongue, and it will be mixed with the saliva. The jelly-like thing, what I said, liquid, that is the saliva. So all it will be mixed. Okay, and here we will use the teeth for churning, biting, and cutting the food, grinding the food part. So this process we will call it as a mastication. This the mechanical process which is going on inside the buccal cavity, we will call it as a mastication. Okay, so that mastication process will occur by the teeth. Now we will study the different forms of teeth which are present in our buccal cavity. Okay, so let me talk about the activity 2.2. Okay, I told you to read and come and check how many teeth are there inside your mouth. Okay, what are the different types are there, how is their shape, everything you check it yourself, I told. So related to that one, here an activity is given, that is the activity 2.2. Okay, so here we are trying to find out the different types of teeth in our mouth. Okay, so wash your hands, look into the mirror and see, open your mouth and see the buccal cavity. Count the number of teeth. First you count it by using your index finger, okay, or by using any one thing, okay, that you have to wash it carefully and put it inside and count the teeth, number of teeth in the lower jaw and upper jaw also. Okay, when you open your mouth, down it will be lower jaw and up it will be upper jaw. Okay, so then one more activity they are telling, count the number of teeth and how many kinds of teeth you are finding there. What are the different types? How many kinds of teeth are there? That you have to find out. And take a piece of apple or bread and eat it. Okay, apple if you are going to eat, which are the teeth you are going to use it there. Okay, for biting purpose, what type of teeth you are using, that you find out. Okay, so biting and cutting part and grinding part, churning part, what type of teeth you are using, that you find out and record your what are the types of teeth you are finding there, and which teeth is used for what purpose, that you write in your rough notebook. Okay, so that you have to record it and find the observations. So they made the observation and they have given the picture of or the arrangement of teeth also in your textbook. So this is the arrangement of teeth, what I have written on the board. Okay, arrangement of different types of teeth, how it is arranged in the lower jaw. One side only it is given, lower jaw only it is given. Okay, let me come to the point, the different types of teeth what we have. Okay, we have the 4 types of teeth here. See, molar, premolar, canine and incisors. Okay, so first when you open your mouth, what you see the front teeth. Okay, these are incisors. Okay, incisor. See, first type of teeth here in your textbook they have not given this incisors. This column is not given there. Okay, so first type only they have given the function. What work it will do, they have given. So I have included incisor, canine, premolar and molar. Okay. So what is their function, that I have written in the down. Okay. Next line I wrote there. Okay. You have to follow those, and if you want, you write down in your textbook also. Here the column is given. Okay. You have to fill that column. Okay. Now types of teeth. How many types we have? See, you remember 4 types of teeth we have. That is incisors, canines, premolars and molars. These are the 4 types of teeth we have in our buccal cavity. Now let us count how many are there in each type, how many are there. Okay, so incisor means front 4 teeth. See, both in the lower jaw and upper jaw, 4 number of teeth. When you open your teeth, okay, front 4 teeth. In the lower jaw 4 and upper jaw 4. Okay, so number of teeth, how many will be there? Incisors, how many canines, how many molars, how many premolars, we are going to write in the column. Okay, so in the lower jaw, how many are there? In the upper jaw, how many are there? Both are similar. How many in the lower jaw? That much only in the upper jaw also. Both are same number of teeth are there. Okay, so incisors in the lower jaw 4 are there. In the upper jaw also 4 are there. So total numbers of teeth, incisors, how many are there? 8 are there in the human body. Okay. Then coming to the next type of teeth, canines. Okay. So canines, these are, see, if you open the corner, this one and this side corner, they are like a sharp edges. Okay. So they are 2, 1 on the left side, 1 on the right side. Okay, 2 will be there in the lower jaw. Like that only in the upper jaw, 2, 1 on the left and 1 in the right side. Okay, so upper jaw 2, lower jaw 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so then coming to the premolars. So premolars, so after this canines, next 2 will be the premolars. Okay, so after tearing, biting, cutting, we'll push it little back to grind it, churn it. For premolars are helpful. Okay, so those premolars, how many are there? So this one, back side, this side 2, this side 2. That means 4 will be there, premolars. In the lower jaw 4. One side 2, another side 2, 4 in the lower jaw. Upper jaw also, one side 2, right side, left side, 2 will be there. So both sides 2 means upper jaw 4, lower jaw 4. So 4 plus 4, it is 8. Then molars. So molars, last corner, 3 will be there. Left side 3, right side 3. Lower jaw only 6 we will get it. Okay. So lower jaw 6, upper jaw 6. Okay. So now total 6 plus 6 is 12. Okay. So now already I told in the last class how many will be there. Total number of teeth, permanent teeth, how many will be there. Okay. That I told you, that will be 32 in number. Now let us count. 8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 8, 20. 20 plus 12, it is 32. Okay. So total will be 32 in number in the human buccal cavity. Okay, how many teeth are there? We come to know. Now let us study the shape. Okay, how they are present in the buccal cavity. Only lower jaw is given. This is the arrangement of teeth and different type of teeth. Okay, how they are arranged in order and different types of teeth also they have shown here. So let me talk from the incisors. Okay, so incisors means they are the front teeth. What is the function? Front. First, when you take the food, any food inside, if it is little bit bigger in size or when you want to bite it, cut it means, we'll use this incisors. When you pass inside, the scissor like, they are like a scissor. Okay, they are scissor like means scissor. Why do we use means for cutting. Okay, cutting and biting part, we'll use this incisors. Okay, see, I have written here what is the function. They are used for cutting and biting. Understood, children? The incisors, they are also having the sharp edges. Okay, see, open your mouth and touch and see. Okay, they have the sharp edges because any big item we have to cut and make it into small pieces. Okay, cutting and biting part, these are used. So these are 4 in number. Okay, so lower jaw only 4 in number, that is shown here. These are the incisors. See, here I draw the line. Okay, so these type of teeth, they are sharp in their structure. So if you put anything inside, easily we can bite it and cut it. Okay, so this is the incisor, first type of teeth. Next, after that, both corner. See here, this is a type called canine. Okay, second type of teeth, what we have, this is the canine. They are also very sharp, pointed edges they have. If you open your mouth and touch and see, like a little bit sharp they are. They are not broader like canines. They are sharp. Okay, so this is meant for tearing. Okay, tearing the flesh or piercing anything. See, just when you are eating the sugar cane, okay, first only we will not bite it from the canines. What we will do, we have to take out the peel. Outer coating is there, no, that is little bit harder. That we will take out. For that, we have to peel it. Or we have to pierce this canine into that and we have to remove that upper part. Okay, so canines are used for piercing and tearing the food. Okay, so when you are eating the sugar cane, what we will do? So we will tear it, we will pierce into it and then we will tear it. Okay, so that tearing part, piercing part, we will use this canine. Since they are sharp edges, they are having the sharp edges. That is their function. Understand? Now, come to the next part, that is the premolar. See, premolar, these two are premolars. Okay, this side and this side, totally 4. See, first 4, these are the canines. Then this one and this one. Only one will be there. These are incisors and these 2 are canines. One will be there. Then after that, this 2, a pair will be there, no? So 2 will be premolars. This 2 and this 2 will be the premolars. What they will do? What it is cutted into small pieces, now they will push it back and here from they will start to churn it and grind it. Okay, so that what is the pieces we made now with the canines and incisors, that should be grinded properly, churned properly. For that purpose, this premolars and molars are used for grinding purpose mainly. That is converted into soft and soluble form. Understood? So what else? The food we had taken inside the buccal cavity, no? Actually the digestion will start in this place only. Okay. So the mechanical way of digestion which occurs in the mouth, that is nothing but this grinding, churning, cutting is there, no? This is only the mechanical grinding. That is only the first step of digestion. It will start here only. Okay. So that harder food, we have made it into smaller pieces. Smaller pieces too, we have grinded and made into a thin paste-like thing. Okay, we are grinding it in a mixie. We will grind now, like that paste we will make it. Like that our food we are making into paste by using these molars and 3 premolars and 3 molars also present back of that one. So here these 2 molars, remaining 3 are premolars. They are little bit broader in size because food has to be present on this one both in upper and lower jaw, and it should be grinded there. So that is the reason they have broader in size. Okay, so broader there means more food can accumulate there, and in both the ways they can churn it. Okay, that is the reason they are broader in size compared to these canines and incisors. Okay, so these are the functions of the premolars and molars, mainly for churning and grinding purpose for they are used. Understood, children? Now you found how many? This 1, 2, 3 molars are there. 1, 2 premolars are there. Then this is canine, and 1, 2, 3, 4 incisors. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 twos are 32. This is only in the lower jaw. Okay. So upper jaw again 16 will be there. Okay. So 16 plus 16, 32 sets of 32 type number of teeth were present in the human buccal cavity. Understood, children? This is about our teeth. Got it? Now, let us move to the next part. So, after the teeth, in our mouth, there will be one more thing I said, that is the saliva. So, now let us talk about the saliva here. See, children, you have to learn to write the diagram, and this table is very important for you. You should fill all these numbers in your textbook, because again and again we are not giving on the board. Okay, you have to write. I have given this one only for the assignment also. So you must write this table. Understood? Now we are going to discuss about one more thing which is present inside the mouth, that is the saliva. Everybody know about saliva. This is present inside the mouth. When we think about the food, or when we are eating the food, a liquid like a jelly like thing which is present inside the mouth, we'll call it as a saliva. Okay, so which is helping us to mix with the food. If it is a harder food we are eating, then it is making it to mix with the food and helping in the churning or grinding the food. Okay. So what is the main action of that saliva? That we are going to find out by doing an experiment here. So that is activity 2.3. Okay. So in this activity, we are going to find out what is the use of saliva here. Okay, so here saliva is a liquid like thing, and here actually the chemical combination, that means chemical reaction of the food will take place. Okay, by the action of saliva. How it will acting on the food item, and what is the product we are getting, that we are going to discuss with by doing a small experiment here. Okay, so for this experiment, they are taking 2 test tubes. Okay, so test tubes means a glass vessels. Okay, they will be like this. Down, round bottom they have. This is the opening. A narrow shape they have. Okay, this is what we will call it as a test tube, used for doing some experiments. So 2 test tubes we are taking the, okay, name it as A and B. Okay, for this test tube, we have taken one in the boiled rice. First it will be, the rice will be boiled rice I am taking in first test tube. Then add little water also. Okay. Then you drop. So through the dropper, here what we are dropping? Iodine solution. Okay. So here another one. Here the rice will be there. Okay. See, we have taken two test tubes. In that, label them as first one as A and another one as B. Okay. In test tube A, 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice. How much? 1 teaspoonful. This is 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice we have taken. Okay. So in the test tube B, keep 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice after chewing it for 3 to 5 minutes. See that boiled rice only. Okay, so let me show it with a different color. This is boiled and chewed food. In test tube B, boiled and chewed rice it is. Not. Okay, so how much? 3 to 5 minutes we have to chew. Okay, so take the rice, boil the rice only. You chew it in your mouth for 3 to 5 minutes. Then take a little of that rice, chewed food. You put it in test tube B and then add water to it. Okay. Okay. Then add the iodine solution also. So here also we should add iodine solution. That iodine solution with the help of the dropper. Okay, ink dropper will be there now. That also we can use. Like the dropper will be there in the laboratory also. So for that we are adding the iodine solution. Okay, so both test tube for iodine solution is added. Okay, so when you add the iodine solution, what happens? Immediately this boiled rice is there now, that will be changing into purple or blue black in color. It will be changed to blue black. When you add iodine solution, then it will be changing into blue black color. Okay, so this color, why we got this color? You know that when in our food, what is the main content is there? That is, the main content is carbohydrate. Okay, so in rice, what is the main content? That is the carbohydrate. Okay, so that carbohydrate we have taken boiled one and in the test tube A. Okay, see, first you have to take two test tube A and B, you name it. Okay, two test tube for. Take the boiled rice in test tube A, little bit of 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice you take in test tube A, and in test tube B you have to take that boiled rice and chew in your mouth 3 to 4 minutes, chew it, then you take that chewed food in the test tube B. Okay, so after taking both, you have to pour the water and stir it. Little bit of water you pour. Okay, so you stir it to, then you add 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution. How much? 2 to 3 drops of iodine. Little bit if you add only, it will change the color. So 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution if you are adding to this one, both for we are adding. Okay, if you add for first one, it is changing the color as blue black color. Another one, if you add also, it is not going to change. What is the reason? The content both inside we have taken the same rice only, but one we have chewed, another one directly we have taken. Okay, water also same thing we have added. Okay, but when you add the iodine solution, why we are adding the solution here, iodine solution? Because to test for starch. So iodine is used here to test for starch. Already you know in the first lesson only you come to know, while testing for starch we'll use the iodine solution. Okay, so in the leaf starch is present or not, for that experiment we use that one. So here also we are using the iodine solution for testing the starch which is present in the rice or not. Of course it is present in the rice. What we have taken first, no, it is present there. After chewing it, in that the starch is not present. Why it is like this? Where that starch has gone. Okay. So when you chew the food will be mixed with the saliva. Okay, the rice will be mixed with the saliva when you are chewing. Okay, so this saliva is converting our food into sugar. This is the first chemical reaction which is occurring inside the mouth. Okay, so the digestion of the food chemically starts in the mouth itself. That's why saliva is very important, children. In the mouth only the chemical reaction will start. The rice what we have chewed, no, that time it is mixing with the saliva. So that saliva is converting the starch into sugar. So starch is converted into sugar form because of saliva. That's why here there is no color change. Here already it is converted into sugar. That's why here there is no color change, and here still the starch is present. That's why it is changing its color to blue-black. If no starch means no color changing, because here already when you chew the food, then only that starch content has gone and it is changed into one more form, that is into sugar. Since sugar is present instead of starch here, there is no color change in the chewed food. Understood, children? So this saliva is helpful very much in break down the starch into sugar. So this point you remember, children. I am going to rub the diagram. You have to learn to draw the diagram also. So saliva, this is important thing. Saliva helps to break down starch into sugar. Understood, children? This is very important. Why saliva is present, how it is helping means we can find out. Got it? So this is the first thing we had to learn about the saliva here. For that, to prove that one, here this experiment is given. That is activity 2.3. In your own words, you can explain this, children. Okay. So now here some extra information is given about the tooth decay. Sweets, if you have means, you'll get often the tooth pain. And if you are eating more and more and not brushing it regularly means, what happens? It will become decaying. Okay. So decaying means, so inside the teeth, it will start to rotten the things. Okay. So that is what we will call it as a decay. So normally, the bacteria which are present inside the mouth, they are very harmful and they are secreting some acids in the mouth. That's why usually in the morning and after the meals at night, we are brushing our teeth to remove this bacteria. Okay, bacteria, virus, they should not be always present inside the mouth. Okay, so that's why we have to brush our teeth twice a day at least. Okay, so that is, you have to keep it in a careful way. So when you eat and after finishing the lunch, the food will be present inside the mouth, in between the teeth, no, that particles are there, no, they are releasing some acids, and that acid is helping, that acid is making the things to rotten there. Okay, so small food particles become rotten there and they start to make a harmful effect on the teeth. Okay, so this is what we will call it as a, that acids gradually they are damaging the teeth. This is only we will call it as a tooth decay. So it is not treated in time, no, what happens, that teeth will break up day by day. The holes you will find it first. If it is not repaired or it is not filled by anything, so again you will get too much pain and you have to remove that teeth only. Okay, again you are not getting any more teeth, is it not? That's why you have to, when you eat especially the chocolate, sweets and all, no, you have to remove it, all the particles which are present in between the teeth by brushing it. Okay, only one suggestion is brushing. Therefore, one should clean the teeth or datun with the dental brush will be there. No? With that, you have to clean it at least 2 times a day. Okay, so this is the extra information they gave here. So one more thing, extra information about the food or food pipe or the windpipe about they have given. So sometimes when you eat in a hurry or when you are eating and talking, both activity you are doing, you may get the cough. Okay, coughing or hiccups you are getting or choking sensation. Okay, so something is obstacle there, like that sensation you are feeling. This happens why? Means when the food particle enter the windpipe. See, when here I showed you the digestive system. See, after the mouth, okay, so when you eat the food, see, suppose this may be the esophagus. The pipe-like structure is esophagus. See, when you eat the food, here both pipes will be coming and joining here. One is the food pipe. Another one is the windpipe. Okay, food pipe and windpipe both have one canal only first. Before it is coming to the stomach area, both of them have only one pipe. Okay, so that through one pipe only wind also and food also both should go inside the body. Okay, so how it will go both inside together means, see, when we are eating, we cannot inhale, means we cannot breathe. When we are breathing, we cannot eat. Okay, one activity we can do. Suppose both we want to do together by talking. When we are talking and eating, no, sometimes air also, food also, both together, they are going and rushing towards, no. That time, what happens? We'll get the hiccups or coughing at least. So, how they are able to go separately? That we have to know here. See, the food pipe and the windpipe, between them, there is a small tongue-like structure we have in the, here in the neck portion. That's what we will call it as a epiglottis. Epiglottis, this is not mentioned in your textbook. You write down, children. This is important thing, some extra information. Why that small tongue-like structure is present in the neck portion. When you open your mouth in a broader way, you can see this epiglottis is present in this neck portion. What is the reason of that epiglottis means? When food and air both are passing towards the esophagus. Okay, so when you are eating the food, this epiglottis closes this one. This is, suppose it is a food pipe and this is a windpipe. When you are eating the food, this will be opened and the windpipe will be closed. So when you are breathing, that time food pipe will be closed and windpipe will be open. Okay, that activity will be done by the epiglottis. Got it? So since that is present, both are going in an easy way in the same chamber, same vessel, and then the epiglottis will start there. So until that, it will be the same column only. So after that, when it is going to the stomach area, wind will goes to the lungs part, means air will go to the lungs and the food will be going to the stomach area. Okay. So until that both are going together only, how they are not mixing together means because of this epiglottis. Okay. Understood, children? So if both are, when both activity if you are doing together means there is some disturbance in the epiglottis and it is not able to control both properly there. That is the reason you'll get cough, and that food item it goes inside the windpipe means you'll get the cough. So when you are coughing, that will comes out again to the mouth, then air will go easily. Okay, so that's what here they given as extra information. In this way, the food is going inside and digestion will start there. Got it? So let me continue the other parts of the mouth, like a tongue maybe in the next class. Until that, you be studying this, children. Okay. Thank you, Ananda.